what happened?
What
I don't
happened?
A bunch of
Monkey
people left,
doesn't
no comments from them.
understand.
I don't know what's going on. I have literally no clue, which
no
is
clue.
Not too surprising, considering Mythic isn't like a traditional talent agency. It's just like a bunch of us with our own independent managers.
Hey, what's up, guys? Here.
From the beginning.
So it appears that the already bad situation involving Mythic Talent has gotten even worse. Today, the VTuber Kirsche announcing that she and Mythic are separating, and that she is disappointed by the lack of communication and clarity after she's had nothing but good things to say about her relationship with the company. Now, this really represents a hill that I guess Mythic is willing to die on, where they are seemingly getting rid of anybody who is controversial in any sort of a way from their company, whether your name is Kirsche, Asmongold, or anything like that. They are parting ways with all of these people who even co-founded their company. A very strange hill to die on.
Stripe says, I think Mythic should have defended Asmon. I feel like Mythic is heading for a Vishoyo end. Yeah. This artist show, like, dudes, come on, we've seen this so many times. Like Vishoyo, Advanced GG, all these companies that are backing away from their content creators because of controversy, it usually fails. It blows up in their face. Because the thing is, they don't stick by you when they disagree. Why would they stick by you when they agree? And see, it's such an eye-opener that they can let you go any moment, right? You don't know. They're so unpredictable. Unless they would show that they constantly just care for the talents rather than what the talents stand for. That shouldn't be the main interest. Their talents should be allowed to do whatever they want, and they shouldn't focus on the message, right? They should just focus on their product. So yeah, it's weird. It's weird.
But that seems to be their choice. Now, if you're not really familiar with Mythic Talent, they are an agency that simply helps content creators get sponsors. They're basically the middleman who takes a cut from the deals they find content creators. It's very hands-off. But over the past couple of weeks, they've had a lot of controversy and cancellation campaigns targeting them and the partners they work with. It began with this post from Caseytron, the infamous Hassan Orbiter, who listed out all...
Was that what got it all started? Donor Casey? Smoking too much reefers again and tweeting out some bullshit. I wouldn't call it controversy most of the time. More like a schoolyard drama. Exactly. I mean, it's not even controversy. It's not. People have different opinions and stand for different things, right? And as a company, your main concern shouldn't go like what your promoters or your clients, what message they are bringing across different platforms. Your focus should be like if your client is able to promote your product, and that should be the only concern you should have. Like, are they good at promoting and getting the revenue in, right? Everything else is uninteresting. If they like the color red the most, who the cares, right? It's not for them to decide that you are only allowed to like the color purple. It's so stupid. I don't understand. You're just a product. You're just a company. And in Mythic's case, they get sponsors, give it to their talents, and take a cut. So, yeah, why should they get involved with anything else?
All of the talents working.
Asman should have bought out a Mythic and ran it himself. I don't think he wants to. I don't think he's interested in it anymore. Let's face it, he stepped away. Like, not officially, but he hasn't been involved with them for a long time. When was the last time anyone saw a Asmongold sponsored stream? Must be like forever ago. Unless it's like video games and such, but does he even need to have sponsored streams. You're making a fortune as it is, right? I don't know. Most of this type of stuff actually is bot influenced. Yeah, I'm sure it is. A few people bought a company, influence, and are making the choice incorrectly. These companies should figure out what this out by now. Yeah. A lot of people are tweaking their stats. Of course. I've seen all the discourse on Twitter where people like accusing others for botting, or the Twitch view numbers are wrong and blah, blah, blah all the time. And so how are sponsors supposed to know what is real and what isn't?
With Mythic and try to basically shame them by association, because Asmongold is a co-founder of the agency. And then right around that time, we saw a bunch of content creators announce that they were leaving, or that they had already left, to try to clarify that they're no longer there, I guess to avoid further harassment, because that's what this list would entail. Now, we also had the situation involving the VTuber Grimmy, who was a partner with Mythic Talent for about a year, who came out and said that they were skimming money off the top with some of their deals.
Yeah, that was like a week ago on Twitter. Basically, as I understood this part, she got sponsors, but they didn't tell her, or they kept that, allegedly, they kept that from her, that the sponsor would pay them more for future parts, but they never let Remy know that the prices went up, and she remained on the same roster or the same payout, but the prices had increased. I think that's what happened. I'm not sure. Like I said, I flew past this on the Twitter timeline, but yeah, like a week ago, this is like the whole thing that kicked off a lot of things for Mythic Talent, and people just like got an eye open, like what the hell is going on.
That situation is still ongoing. It's not clear what happened one way or another. Mythic Talent denied that this happened, but it spurred on a lot of conversation. We had other Mythic Talents like Cha-Cha coming out and saying basically they had nothing but good things to say about their experience with the agency. We also had Kirsche.
Yeah, it was so divided because some people, they were for it and other people were against it. And yeah, it was also confusing, right? So, and I'm not sure if Asmon got paid out or if they paid Asmon to leave him. Yeah, I know he hates responsibilities, and he probably didn't want to be a part of it anymore, right? Because it takes a lot of effort dealing with all these companies and contracts and making sure everything is like within the legal rights. And nah, I don't know. Sounds like a lot of hassle, but let's see what Kisha has to say.
Who, well, I guess is no longer a member of Mythic Talent,
yeah,
come out and basically say that she's had nothing but a good experience and doesn't really know what's going on when this whole thing was breaking down about a week ago.
Could I ask my Mythic contact to consult their lawyer about tortious interference lawsuits, pretty please? I have no idea what the fuck is going on with Mythic. I'm gonna be real honest with you. Like I saw Grimmy say some stuff about Mythic, but she's like, I can't say too much. And then Cha-Cha was like, I don't know what's going on with Mythic. They've only done well by me. I haven't had any issues with Mythic either, so all of these people who are coming out and being like, there's some horrible things lurking in the sewer, I'm like, where?
Yeah, that's so weird. I mean, some say this, others say that. Don't know nothing.
Yeah, what happened?
What happened?
A bunch of people
Monkey
left,
doesn't
no comments from them. I don't know what's going on. I have literally no clue, which is
clue.
Not too surprising, considering Mythic isn't like a traditional talent agency. It's just like a bunch of us with our own independent managers.
And she would further clarify those statements in this reply to someone sharing that clip, saying, to be clear here, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong, just that I have no idea what's going on, and this isn't the first time I've seen people say they've had bad experiences with Mythic and my personal experience reflects what Cha-Cha says. So basically, she's somewhere in the middle. She has some positive things to say about her own experience that lines up with things people are saying as well, but also she's heard about bad experiences, which would line up with other things people are saying. So it's a very mixed bag, surrounded by a bunch of confusion. Now, the big focus was what was Asmongold going to do about the situation, because Casey Tron in her post was not someone who's trying to right a wrong. All she was trying to do was use her hatred of Asmongold and these talents that are in the way working for a company he co-founded in order to secure a win over him, to cause him some sort of issue, and it would be successful because Asmongold and Mythic would.
Kirsche is weathered storms before. Yeah, Foxu will be fine. I bet she will. Kirsche is strong. She's amazing. I'm just sorry she has to go through this because, like, yeah, a couple of days ago, everything sounded fine. So I don't know what happened there. And it's weird. But maybe the Mythic Talent has decided to, I don't know, cancel all the projects and just stop, I guess.
Would mutually agree to part ways. Now, seeing everything that's happened
because
since
of the
then, it's
advertisements?
becoming increasingly clear that I think this was much more of a move of Asmongold getting out of this company, at least publicly, right? We don't know the
Mythic
full
is
extent
gone.
of how much he still has in terms of an interest in the company, but they have been making a lot of mistakes. And right after their announcement, people were wondering, well, what's going to happen next? Because if Asmongold was someone they would willingly part ways with, where does that leave everyone else? Because the people who are trying to get talents harassed and try to get them to leave were not satisfied simply with Asmongold leaving. That was going to continue. The pressure was going to increase. If you give a mouse a cookie, right? We all know the story. You give these people anything, they'll keep using those tactics over and over again to get everyone to leave the company or to get removed from the company. And right after Asmongold left, several content creators were also parting ways, including Nicholas Light, who said during his vacation, celebrating his 1-year anniversary with his wife, he was informed by Mythic.
This is also funny. Like, he come back from a vacation and then just like, well, I guess I'm parting ways now. That was hilarious.
Mythic Talent that they had parted ways with him as well. And he's a controversial content creator as well, so there seems to be a pattern. Now, like I said when this happened, what is the next step? Is this going to stop anyone else from getting removed by the company? I said absolutely not. This is going to continue, and one of the people I thought of instantly was Kirsche, because people have been gunning for her sponsorships and her business relationships forever, and it seems like, well...
Oh, that's been ongoing for like over a year. And like a year now, people just like, yeah, constantly trying to go after her sponsors, all the company she's working for, artists, all that, right? Dude, she has to take a lot of hate. There's so many more out there. And I bet they're happy now, like, oh yeah, look. But this comes as a shock because the Mythic, I don't know, there's so many people in that company, right? Or agency. It's not a company, it's an agency. And not for talents, like they just, as I understand, they just give you sponsorships, right? And take a cut from it. Queso is on Mythic as well, right? Yeah. And a lot of bigger VTubers as well. Lots of the big streamer names.
Well, they got what they wanted. Now, we don't know the direct cause at this point, but that's what happened. And the big theme here is confusion. It seems like there's utter confusion going on at Mythic and confusion between them and anyone they're working with, because when Asmongold was removed,
what the heck is
Kirsche
going
would
on?
quote it, the announcement, saying, "What the heck is going on?" That seems like she had as much insight as anyone else watching this situation unfold, even if it was people outside of the company. And I knew statements like this would bring in absolute loons who would try to weaponize Asmongold leaving, to go after people like Kirsche. And that's exactly what we saw from
yeah,
infamous
Nayara.
cryboys like this saying,
Dude,
you're next. And how
Klaus is
would
at
that
it.
not happen when people saw Asmongold leave? They said, well, if Asmongold's going to leave and get pressured into
saw
doing
this
it,
coming. Yeah.
what
I
about
guess.
everyone else? Well,
I don't
it
know.
appears
There's-
now, as of
Yeah, all the ad companies are starting to understand that the bots don't equal financial gain. I guess so. I mean, what? You can't make money just because the statistics or the stats show you one number, but that doesn't like with reality, like they're just pumping out all this money, right? Expect you to, I don't know, weird. I'm glad I'm Indian. Like honestly, I get getting being part of an agency and a company makes a lot of things easier. And I guess when you're a bigger streamer, it's something that you necessarily can't avoid. But I'm glad I'm just like Indian. I don't have anyone breathing down my neck, or I have to like I don't know, constantly watch out what I do and what I say just because people might snap. Ah, Robbie Walker, do I sound like an Indian? No, I'm Swedish. Yeah. Someone get the coffee? Yeah. Let's go.
2 hours before recording this video, Kirsche made this announcement saying, genuinely no idea what's going on with Mythic at this point, but I guess we are also separating. Disappointed at the lack of communication and clarity after having nothing but good things to say about my manager.
Like, what the
business email is back and active, which is disappointing, but this was the inevitable conclusion of the situation. Everyone knew as soon as the dominoes started to fall, it wasn't going to stop. And it appears that Mythic is really choosing this hill to die on. I do not know how their company is going to survive any of these recent moves. But she would add on to her original thread with this response to someone saying they're sorry about the situation, where she said something that I've heard from several active Mythic talents, saying this, not a huge deal as they weren't really providing much at this point. The last sponsor I had brought to them, and several sponsors who were supposed to have been reached out to on my behalf.
When you're part of an agency and they're supposed to provide you with sponsors, and then you are actually going out finding sponsors, and oh God, Kisha, what are you doing?
Have told me that they never were. And I've heard this again from multiple people, former and current with Mythic, where there really wasn't that many opportunities as of late, at the very least. They weren't doing much for many people. It seems like a very select few people in the company or partners with the company were getting the majority, the lion's share of opportunities and sponsorships, and everyone else was just kind of on their own to begin with. And this lack of communication I'm seeing right here seems like something that a lot of people were dealing with. And with Kirsche, I mean, she will be just fine. I mean, she is someone who can really push pretty much anything she tries to promote at this point. She has her own line of merch here. Like, if you want to check that out to support her, of course, go ahead and do so. But yeah, this whole thing with Mythic is an absolute mess. And it seems like they've really chosen the path they're going down, and it's not a good one for them. I don't think it really takes an insider to understand that these are a series of very bad moves that people will interpret, and I think reasonably, as bending the knee and capitulating to the mob.
This usually never works, right? Because people just like, you know, you go against your own talents at first, and then who's to say that you're not gonna go after everything? So these companies, they're like rotten. Yeah. Hi, Meaty. Hi, good to see you.
On social media, who wants to completely destroy anybody affiliated with this company because of its one-time affiliation with Asmongold. That's really the whole rundown of this, but this company already clearly had some issues. It had some good experiences from people, and also had some bad experiences from people. But nevertheless, it seems like things are taking a turn for the worse, and worse and worse and worse for them. But that's going to do it for this video. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below.
Yeah, that's over. They are done. Yeah.